What's up, everybody? One Fun Guy podcast in the studio. I'm just hanging out tonight, guys, making some notes. I have my podcast coming up this Sunday with Greg the Watchman. That's going to be awesome, guys. If you are a fan of luxury watches, Panerai, Patek, Rolex, Audemars Piguet, Jaeger LeCoultre, Jacob and Company, we're going to cover them all. We're going to cover all our favorite brands, Tudor, from everything from small to Seiko all the way up to the big boys, right? The APs, your Royal Oaks, your Richard Mille. So we're going to cover everything in between. So if you like watches, this is going to be the episode for you. I am a watch fanatic. I have a decent collection, I'll say that. I'm not in the same atmosphere as those guys that own those brands and have multitudes of watches, but I do envy them, right? I hopefully one day when I'm a mega star and my podcast really takes off and I have the money in the account, I can buy some Rolexes and some APs and have some fun with some watches. But nonetheless, I love the ones that I have now, the ones that are homemade. Shout out to my buddy Adam King. He built some awesome watches with JD. So I mean, this is kind of a spoof of a Rolex. It's called a Relax. I don't know if you guys can see it. Maybe I could spin it around, but I can't do that. My wrist won't do it. But anyways, just fun watch, right? It's just cool. It's a good conversation piece. But hopefully one day, right? So that's the goal. So if you guys are on tonight, like to share, show it, hang out with me a little bit. I'm making some notes. I really need to hashtag some people and really get some people on my show that I get to know. So if you guys are watch fans out there or know anybody who is a watch fan, please hook me up. Send them my stuff. This show here is going to be awesome. So if you, like I said, are a watch fan yourself, it is going to be a great show with Greg. He is an avid collector, and it's going to be a fun show, guys. We're going to talk watches. So Greg is going to be my guest. He goes by Greg the Watchman on Instagram. So if you want to check him out, you could find me across all the platforms, guys. I'm One Fun Guy Podcast. I'm here on TikTok, we're on Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. One Fun Guy podcast is my name all across the board, guys. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you can. I'm just making some notes, guys, hanging out. I don't know if I'm going to take on any battles or do anything with anybody in a box as of yet. I kind of want to make this video as a promotional video for my YouTube channel, so I think I'm just going to fly solo for a little bit, maybe take a break, do some content on my other platforms, and then come back and revisit, maybe coming back live again and doing that. So if you like watches, guys, this is your episode. If you are a watch fan, a watch enthusiast, anything to do with watches or the people that wear them, we are going to talk about Kevin O'Leary, Teddy Belsasar, producer Michael, Beverly Hills Watch Company, Jacob and Company with Jacob. We're going to talk all of these things, so it's going to be a great show. The people that wear expensive watches, we're going to talk about actors and actresses who have expensive watch collections, i.e. Mark Wahlberg is one of them. Kevin Hart is another one. John Mayer. He actually had a Rolex named after him. He wore it on stage, and everyone said, "Oh, that's the John Mayer." So, there's a lot of people who are avid watch collectors. It's a big thing. It's a fun community. I am definitely a part of it. I follow people who love watches. I love watches myself, so it is going to be a great episode. So if that's something you're interested in, excuse me, please check us out. If it's not, if watches aren't your thing, I have some bands coming up on the show as well. So, yeah, it's just going to be a fun show with Greg. Like I said, we're going to talk watches and everything about them. So I'm just kind of hanging out tonight, guys. I'm just taking some notes while I'm doing that. I thought I'd hop on. I always make notes, guys. It's kind of my thing. It's what I do to get ready for my podcast. It's how I prepare. So if you are in the podcast game, AJ, right? Who knows? I know he is kind of, unfortunately, at the end of his career. We'll see what happens with AJ. But yeah, so as far as my podcast goes, guys, watches is what it's going to be about this episode. So like I said, if you are a fan of luxury watches, and even if you're not, Greg's a good dude. He has a tragic story. I'll let him talk about it if he wants to. He told me he was pretty open about it, but he made one of the most horrible events in his life kind of where he's at now. And like I said, I don't want to ruin the story, but it's actually it's an incredibly sad story, and just one of those freak incidences where you just kind of, like I said, I'll let him tell it, but but it turned into a good ending, right? A kind of a fairy tale ending for him. So I'll let him touch on that. But like I said, watches is the big thing, guys. So we're going to talk about all the big name brands, like I mentioned before. So we're going to talk about the people who wear them, the people who collect watches, the watch community as a whole, podcasting about watches, all the people that are involved in it, and especially all the name brands, guys, right? So we are going to tag as many as we can when we do it. So obviously the big boys are going to be like Rolex, your APs, your Patek Philippe's, your AP is Audemars Piguet, your Lager J Couture's, your Jacob and Companies, your Richard Mille's. These watches can range anywhere from $30,000 to $1 million. Jacob made $1 million watch. So obviously you have to have the money to do that. If you could, afford $150,000 watch, these guys are the ones that are driving your Lambos and your Ferraris and your, your Bugattis and, all these expensive, they live in multi-million-dollar homes, right? 30, 40, $50 million houses. So obviously if you have the money to afford that lifestyle, you're doing something right. I wish I was in that position. I'm not. So, but I don't knock it, right? I kind of hope that one day I could achieve the success that they have. So that's kind of, what we're doing. So, that's going to be what this show is about. And, we're going to, like I said, talk watches. So if that's something that interests you, awesome. If it doesn't, just tune in, right? So, we'll kind of go from there. So, we'll see what happens from that aspect of it. And, like I said, I'm just making some note, guys. I'm not ignoring you. So if I'm not paying attention to that, I'm really focused on this. But, we're gonna talk, all these different watch brands, and um, sorry guys, I'm just kind of making some notes here real quick. What's up, everybody? Sorry, like I said, I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm just making some notes while I have them fresh in my mind, and then I'll get back to the live here. I'm just going through some stuff for the podcast, and everything that I'm kind of mentioning pops in, so I don't want to make sure that I don't miss anything, as far as that goes. So. Yeah, he turned on Cody. I know that. I think the storyline is to try to give him maybe one last title run, and see what they can get out of him. Like I said, I'm a huge AJ Styles fan. Obviously, with being a part of the Bullet Club and all the stuff that he's done and all the other federations. I think this is maybe the WWE's last chance. Obviously, he's never going to get the belt, right? So unfortunately he'll never be a world champ again, in my opinion. I don't think that he's got enough in him to do it. Is he going to go to AEW? I don't know. I don't know when his contract is up, but there's only so much you can do with a guy like that, right? Like, he's a super talent. Him and Finn Balor and some other ones. Maybe they can drop AJ back down to NXT. I know he had the run with Gallows and Anderson and stuff like that. I don't know if they could put him with them. Maybe they can give him a belt in another division. But unfortunately Cody's got the belt and he's not getting rid of it anytime soon, right? So, maybe when Roman comes back from his movie, maybe they kind of put him back in the mix, but I think this might be AJ's last title run, his last shot at doing it. Like I said, I'm a huge AJ Styles fan. I just don't think that it's what it has in it, right? So wrestling is storylines, right? It's what sells the sell the story. I think for AJ, going heel, gives you a better push, right? Cody's the face now of the company, and he's the the good guy, and so I think that obviously if you're going to give anybody a title run, they have to be a heel at this point, right? You can't do anything else with that. Unfortunately, with AJ, I think his age and his ability comes into it, right? I mean, when you're 40 years old, you can't do the same things you did when you're 20 years old. And as he gets older and he has to, maintain his, lifestyle and working out and the regimen and wrestling and doing all the stuff, you have to slow down. And I think this is kind of his realization that that's happening. So I think this is his last time at maybe getting a title run in the WWE. I just don't know how they're going to be able to do it with Cody having the belt. They're obviously not going to give it to AJ. I don't think anybody else is going to get it for any time soon. Maybe when Roman comes back, that's the storyline they run with the unfinished story of Roman, getting the belt back. But again, those are life decisions that these guys have made, right? Roman said, I want to give up the belt because I want to make a movie. And the only way to do that is they're not going to let a guy keep the belt. That's not wrestling. That's just part of the business. So Roman had to give it up. Cody was the guy that they went with. And that's it. So, I don't know if they'll give AJ a belt again, if he's going to be the IC, US champion. It's kind of pointless to make him a tag champion, but maybe he could do some stuff in NXT. Maybe he can, they're starting to get away more now of the Raw SmackDown stuff. So, maybe they can, give him a champion on a different brand like NXT. I don't think they're going to do anything different as far as, his progress in the WWE right now. So unfortunately, I just, that, like I said, I'm just one person's opinion, but, I think that they're trying to help AJ, as much as he can, towards the end of his career. Maybe they're just doing this to help him as much as they can. So, I don't know if that's, something that they would even, consider doing for him, for all his hard work and dedication to the company, right? I don't know. The WWE is a weird world, right? They like guys for a quick minute, and then they don't like guys. They push guys, and they don't, and it's kind of, like I said before, I mentioned it with Drew McIntyre, right? The guy should have been a world champion. Like, he's good on the mic, great wrestling skills. Everyone seems to like him. Everybody has, have fun in Tennessee. But everybody, just has their own opinions of people, and that's kind of what it is. So, unfortunately, that's, where that goes with him. But again, there's not much you can do in that kind of, discrepancy of belt holders. You have only so many belts and so many wrestlers. Obviously, not everyone's going to get one. So hold on, guys. I'm going to make a few more notes. Sorry, guys, not ignoring anybody, just taking some notes from my podcast, guys. I got Greg the Watchman coming up this Sunday. It's going to be awesome. If you are a fan of watches, tune in. We are talking luxury watches on Sunday. Greg will be my guest. We haven't narrowed down a time yet. We had it for 8 p.m. I'm hoping we can do it for 5 p.m., but we'll see. But I'll start posting stuff, guys, tomorrow with that. But Greg will be on Sunday night. You'll tune into One Fun Guy podcast. I'll be on Facebook Live, and I'll be on YouTube Live doing that, guys. So if you're interested, subscribe to my channel, One Fun Guy Podcast. I'm on YouTube, here on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, One Fun Guy Podcast, guys. Same name across all the platforms. So what's everybody got going on this weekend? Anybody got any plans, anything going on? I don't have much happening. I'm getting ready for my podcast, guys. That's on Sunday. I have a few errands to run tomorrow, but podcast Sunday night with Greg the Watchman. That's kind of what I'm doing now, is prepping for that show. Making a bunch of notes, guys. Like I said, I do that all the time. So if you guys are, on and you see this, I make notes constantly, guys. It's kind of my go-to. So I always like to be prepared for my podcast. It is a conversation style, so I definitely go with the flow, but I always have things prepared of what I want to talk about and what we want to say. So that's how I run my podcast. So if you guys are interested in being on my podcast, or you know anybody who wants to be a guest on my podcast, please send them my way. Shoot me a name or a message, and we'll go from there, and we'll make that happen, guys. I know podcasting, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to do it, I'm not sure if I can or whatnot, but it's just the easy thing. So if you guys want to do it, or you know somebody who does, let me know, and we'll go from there. So that's kind of it. I'm just checking my messages real quick, guys, and so yeah. So other than that, guys, it'll be a fun show. If you like watches, that'll be it. That'll be really cool if you guys can follow here. What's up, CK? So yeah, so we're just kind of hanging out tonight, guys. I'm getting ready for my podcast, so that's pretty much what I'm doing now. Just making some notes. I thought I'd go live while I'm doing it, see how I prep for my show. You kind of give you guys a behind the scenes of what's going on, how I do it, what I do, and kind of go from there. And then I see who I'm gonna hashtag, who I'm gonna tag, and see how I make my post and what I do. There's a method behind the madness, so I'm just working on that now, guys. What's up, guys? Yeah, I'm not going to stay on long either. I'm just kind of making this as a thing so I could put it on YouTube. That's why I'm not taking any battles or having anybody join me live right now. I'm probably going to end this pretty soon and then post it to YouTube and do some other stuff, and then hop back on maybe a little bit later, do another live, and then that's where I'll battle and I'll talk to my friends and kind of see who's on and what's going on. But other than that, I'm just kind of gonna, make this one kind of a short one, post it to YouTube, and then get ready for the podcast on Sunday. So I'll probably be back on tonight a little bit later. I'll probably be back on tomorrow, and then Sunday's my podcast, and then I'll obviously hang out with you guys for a little bit while I'm doing my editing and uploading of my video that I do on Sunday. So that's kind of my go-to. Again, I don't have set dates and times for my podcast. I do them based on availability of my guest. So that's why they're not always Friday night at 7 o'clock. Sometimes they're on Sunday, sometimes they're on Wednesdays, sometimes they're on Tuesdays. I don't choose that. I let them pick a date that works for them. And I say, whatever date and time works for you, you let me know, I'll make it work. And that's generally how I do my show. So it's kind of one of those things where, like, I prep, but I try to make everybody's experience as good as it can be, right? So I don't want to inconvenience anybody. If you have a half hour or an hour on this day and this time, well, then that's the day and time we're doing it. So that's why there's no set time and schedule for my podcast. So that's hopefully one day there will be. That's the goal, right? Is to get everybody on. Always do it on a Friday night or a Saturday night if I can. But it's just hard to do that. So with that being said, that's kind of how I operate my stuff and go from there. So like I said, I'm One Fun Guy Podcast across all the platform, guys. If you're in here and you like what you see, follow me. I'll follow you back. Share my show if you can. That'd be awesome. Like I said, this is going to be a quick live. I'm just doing this to do some promotional stuff for my YouTube channel. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to go over on Facebook and promote it as well. And then from there, I am going to basically turn this into a promotional video for my podcast. And then I said, when I come back later on tonight, it'll be more of a hangout, talk shop about pretty much everything else. So I'm One Fun Guy Podcast, guys, across all the platforms. So please, if you like what you see, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me here, follow me on Instagram, friend me on Facebook, all the socials. And then, we'll have a really fun time Sunday with Greg. It's going to be a great show, especially if you like watches. We're going to talk watches a lot. So that's basically what the entirety of the show is going to be on. So Greg's going to be a great guest, and we're going to have some fun. So thank you guys for hopping in on my live. I'm One Fun Guy Podcast. Like I said, I'm going to be back on a little bit later. I'm just going to edit some videos and post some stuff and then go from there. So thank you all for joining me on this live tonight. Again, One Fun Guy Podcast across all the platforms. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me here. I'll follow you back. Get me on Facebook. Get me on Instagram. One Fun Guy Podcast across all the platforms, guys. I'll see you a little bit later tonight. Take care, everybody.